Okay, we are back. Part 2, the Banhammer podcast, Volume 6.
We're on volumes now. This ain't no episode bull crap you all used to. We're on volumes. It's like reading a book, except you're listening to it. But them new audio books.
That's what we're doing, some kind of mix show. Like that's what I'm used to, though. You know, that's my background. If you like drum and bass, check out Dub Cuts.
Shameless.
Like Optimal Prime.
Shameless
That's the shameless. Do you know what? I've not mentioned that at all in any of the shows.
That's fine. That's fine.
Right, okay, let's bring everyone up to speed. I mean, it has actually been a couple of weeks since we did the first part. Now, we were planning on just going through, talking about, summing up our 2015. It's kind of gone on a little bit along, but instead of just doing a single, like, 2-hour-long show or whatever, we thought we'd split it up.
Split it up a bit, yeah.
We'll keep the information and we'll keep the content. We'll just split it up so it doesn't go over an hour. And this one's been launched a little bit after the last one. When that is, we don't know because we're thinking ahead of time. Right. But yeah, I was going in the last episode through a bunch of games that I've been through last year, and just general thoughts of what I thought of them, whether you, Levi, have played them as well. Most of these were ones that I've actually managed to go through and complete.
Yeah, it was on about
and the
Borderlands last time.
Yeah. And that was because on Roll Mucker Forum that I've used for years, they have this thing going where people tend to log down the games they finish and just
do with something like
put up a little bit of information about what they thought of it. I know it's sad, I know, yes, but it's like something that I've been doing for the last few years. So I've actually got a comprehensive list of everything. I think there's a total of about 18 games or something. Some of them are repeats, but we got about halfway through last time. And I think I was going to go into around about May time. I played. We'll start off with Sacred Citadel. Do you know what Sacred Citadel is? Have you played this?
No, but I know of it, and I think it's the Sacred spin-off, right? And it's like it's like the strolling beat 'em up thing. I'm guessing.
Sorry, I had to burp then.
Excuse you.
Yeah, it's a scrolling beat 'em up. I was looking for a game on the PlayStation Network, and it'd been quite a few years since I've even put anything in that wallet. I tend to just buy physical games. I've never latched on to it's me going off on a tangent again. I've never latched on fully
to like the digital
idea
age.
of buying digital games. It's same with music.
That's
I find
interesting.
It very
Because a friend of mine is completely the opposite. He loves to no, it's not that he loves to. It's that he's lazy. I think he had a disc drive that got broken. Never bothered to send it off to get fixed, and now buys all his games digitally and gets ripped off quite heavily because of it.
Yeah, but and this is something that we could do a show on entirely, but there's always that thing about, you can't sell the games, so you're essentially never making an investment in something that you could make a return on. Now, granted, a lot of the games these days that you get on like PS3,
you're never going to really make a return.
An extra pennies, but it's not always the case. It's like Demon's Souls. I bought that recently.
Yeah.
For 15
quid.
Yeah, and when
so
I
it's
checked,
still holding its price, isn't it?
It's a collector's edition.
Alright.
Believe it or not, it was actually in pristine condition from a CEX shop.
Okay.
That's what caught my attention. But when I checked on eBay, and I'm not saying that's the be-all end-all of prices, obviously, and I didn't buy it for this, but I was quite surprised to find they were going for about £50.
Oh, hell.
But you do get an art book.
That's nice.
And a soundtrack and stuff. But anyway, that's going off on a tangent. We're going away.
Back to Sacred Citadel.
Sacred Citadel. So it's a digital game. It's a scrolling beat 'em up, and it's my first entry into the Sacred series. I'd not really heard of it much up until that point, and I just got this. Literally, it was on offer. I must have paid less than £3, $2.79, something like that. You can't really complain. It's got 20 stages. Scrolling beat 'em up with RPG elements to it.
So it's got a leveling system.
Yeah, it's probably a bit like. Do you remember a few episodes ago we were talking about a fun game that was based around Final Fantasy Reimagined? It's called.
The 7.
Final Fantasy 7. Yeah.
I remember.
I think it's very much like that sort of thing. The 2D aspect, and I don't know what happened to that. I don't think anything, the Final Fantasy game.
I don't think it got shut down. I hope it didn't get shut down because that was looking really, really good.
I'm going to keep an eye out on it,
on it.
But Sacred Citadel, it's got 20 stages split into sort of 4 different areas, and you can choose like one of 4 or 5 characters. They've all got their own different weapon style. A lot of it, there's a big large focus on sort of button mashing and that sort of thing. And you can upgrade your weapons, and there's like a hub world in each section with shops and that sort of thing. And certain magic elements to it that you can use. But it is quite interesting. It's just for a little game just to chill. And what's really good about it is it's got co-op capabilities, so you can actually go through it with a friend and start.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's like really awesome.
In fact, I might have to show you that. In fact, that could be.
We're doing
again, we could do a let's play.
Yeah,
I'd recommend that because it's not a massive commitment, but for the price I paid, definitely it's worth checking out. I think even normally it was maybe about £7 or something. I don't think I'd have bought it at that price, but the fact that it was going at the time for less than £3, just thought,
it was like steal.
Yeah. It's all right. And then once you've gone through it, you can actually go through the levels again and try and like do them in under a certain time.
Oh, so there's like a time.
Yeah, and then
time attack mode. Or
yeah,
time
I think there's about 3 different things. Something to do with the health, the amount of damage you take on the time attack, and a few things where if you do it, you end up with some kind of trophy on that stage, so you can get your completionist.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing that led on to me ended up buying Sacred 3. Which was another really good deal. The first edition, which is on PS3, and that comes with half the DLC.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. We touched on Sacred 3 in the last one, I think.
Yeah, we did, but we cut it out.
I understand now.
We had to do.
Oh, yeah. But Sacred 3. So you bought Sacred 3 because you played Citadel?
Yeah. So I didn't know anything about it.
You had no idea what Sacred was about?
It just, that got me into the world.
Oh, damn, you got lucky.
And I remember picking it up.
Got really lucky.
I knew some people were negative about it. I'll go into that and reasons why shortly. And anyone who knows the series will know why. But I even went to the counter in game, and the guy who sold it to me, he looked at it, and I got it like a brand new sealed copy for £5.
For £5?
No, you can't knock that. £5 brand new sealed, including half the DLC. And the guy who was selling me, who obviously didn't know much about it, was like, "Oh, that's a bit of a steal, that." And his colleague turned around and said, he just looked at him and said, "Fucking hell, it's not even worth that." You know, like he downplayed it straight away, and I'm thinking like, yeah, that's like,
as a person
that's
who
a very good salesman type of thing to do.
On Sacred 2, I can understand where he's coming from, but like it.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a salesperson,
I kind of laughed because I knew that it had that response from people on the forum from when I've read it before. But it turns out, I mean, and as you know, we've talked about this in the past. Sacred is very much like Diablo, sort of Baldur's Gate.
It's a Diablo-esque game, really.
And the first 2 of them were quite in depth, and it was quite.
Oh yeah, they were definitely in depth. I played Sacred 2 a little.
It was like an open world thing, and the first, especially that. I don't know much about this first one. I think I looked up some screenshots, and it was like a PC game.
I really would like to go through the second one again. I can't remember the last time I played it, but
the second one is actually on the PS3 as well, and
yeah, because I picked it up on 360 originally.
Sort of thing where you go through it, fighting enemies in an open world. You're getting loot, you're upgrading things slowly, and there's a lot of like complexity to it.
Yeah, I remember the leveling and skill system had quite a lot of depth actually. Not as much as ARPGs such as Path of Exile, which is stupid, but it was quite in depth.
Yeah, well, this Sacred 3 it's just been turned on its head. It's completely different. They've got rid of that aspect. For a start, it's not an open world game.
So it's linear.
Yeah, there's an overworld map, and you kind of, they're all the areas are connected by like paths, and you kind of connect as you do one level, you open up another. In fact, I actually think you can go where you want to begin with. I can't remember if you can check every level or like go on every level, but something like that anyway. But depending on your stage you're at, your actual level, you won't want to do something that's too high, or else you'll just get destroyed. But each stage is very focused through like a sort of a narrow path that it doesn't really open up that well. It's very linear, and it's almost like arcadey as well. There's a lot of focus around the action. There is an element of upgrading, but you don't get loot, for example. That's the strange thing about it. You don't get armor or anything. The only loot you get is treasure for like gold and stuff.
So you get like a currency.
Yeah, I think it's currency. It's been a while since I played it. I can't remember if it's currency or... Yeah, I was going to say points, but it's not a points-based game. It'll be currency, probably. But you don't really get sort of special items, as far as I remember. Again, it was a while ago, so there might be something I'm missing. But in general, what they try and put in, like, occasionally put some secret areas that you could get to. But even if you found them, you'd find out that it'd be worthless going, other than the fact that you can say, you get the satisfaction, you found it. I'd still do that myself, but that was a bit of a letdown to it. But and the actual upgrading, I think you upgraded your abilities and the types of attacks you could use, but you can only equip certain types of attacks. You couldn't use them all. And you found yourself, once you've got something that you want to use, you'd end up going down that path and not really changing it. And I found that was the case with me. So you kind of limited yourself. But what it did do for me is it was a new series for me, so I didn't have any prerequisite knowledge of the previous entries in the series. So I was just treating it for what it is. And for what it does, it's actually a really enjoyable game. It's got a co-op system mechanic where people can just drop in and out of your games.
So it's like, drop in, drop out co-op.
I'm not a big fan of that, unless I was just playing it for fun, just, having already gone through it. I did try it briefly, but I found myself having to, play to the added pressure of combining with someone else's gameplay and not wanting to lag behind and do my own thing. I'm thinking I have to go. And I noticed that because I went through it a second time. And when I went to a certain level that, I'd been through before, I got confused because I was I didn't recognise certain things. And it was only later on that I realised, I thought, it's because this was the level that someone dropped into my game. So I was trying to, hurry up. And that's one thing I don't like about it. Unless you're playing with someone let's say we're playing local co-op. You're playing online with someone it's a bit different.
Talk to him.
Yeah.
Cooperate with each other, which is kind of the point of the game. I think with drop in, drop out, if it's with friends, it's fine because they're gonna drop and it's hey, I'm playing this game. Oh, do you want to come? Yeah, I'll just drop in your game. That's fine. When you get people you don't even know dropping into your game, you're like, what? Why are you here? Leave. I don't want you here. You're then you're not playing the way you play. You're playing the way they play because they've just come and taken over your game. So I understand that, but sad violin.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the main topic of Sacred. I think you got really lucky, having no introduction to the Sacred game and then playing Sacred 3. You've kind of gone into it with a very open mindset.
That's the advantage of if you're going into Sacred 3. If you play the originals, you will be disappointed.
Yeah, solely.
Exactly. But as just a game, just to play an action game that's not got too much intensity when it comes to storyline. There is a lot of humour in it. You usually have an NPC character who will talk to you as you go through, and I think, again, I'm trying to think back how it works. I forgot what it's actually called, but it's you find these sort of old discarded souls that help you, and they're like demons and other people that have kind of died but lived previously. So it might be like a goddess of a certain world or whatever has died and turned, or a dragon or something, and you use their soul and their essence, I think is the word. The essence you equip, and you equip different ones, and as you play through it, they help you in different ways. And they level up as well, but the leveling up's a bit weird. It's it's not quite obvious how they level up. You play it and it seems to happen in its own time. It's quite slow. But what I did like about it is I went through it initially, but returning back to it, I think I went through it on normal. It's not a massive challenge, but it's alright. But it opens up a fourth difficulty after hard, which is called Deity.
Oh, that's a bit like Diablo. I remember when Diablo 3 first came out, you had to beat it on normal. And then you unlock Nightmare, and if you beat on Nightmare, you got Hardcore. You got Hell.
Ridiculous ones.
And then if you beat Hell, back when Diablo first came out, none of this nerfed Inferno bullshit that people seem to go on. I beat Diablo on Inferno. Bollocks. You did it in patch 1.0. Hats off to you. You're a god. But I remember I got to Inferno when Diablo first came out as a demon hunter, and I got into Act 2. They had these invisible bloody mobs that would one hit you. You couldn't do anything about it. There was a build that specifically made, at one point, a smokescreen build where smokescreen made you invulnerable for a second, The idea was to get the cooldown below a second and have enough regeneration of your resource to spam it continuously. And that was how it got on. So hopefully, please tell me it wasn't as hard as things like Inferno or Diablo.
No, this is what I liked about it. It was actually doable. I'd gone from normal to skipping hard and going straight onto deity. And when I first started, I think the levels increased. They were a bit higher than what I was on. Say I was on about 24, it was like 27.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, at first it felt really tough, but after persevering a bit, I managed to get through. And it gets to a stage where once you match the level of the stage, on normal you can gain a level and go higher than the actual stage. I think something like that, and that means that if you keep playing it,
you can like grind, and then the level's lower than you.
Yeah. But on this mode, you can't. It'll level up with you, so you'll end up on parity with the actual stage you're on. So
your level would always be equal.
Yeah, exactly. And the difficulty you're playing against will always remain that way. And obviously, it's harder as well being on deity. But it really felt like a challenge at times. But then you get onto some stage, you think, oh, that's not too bad. And once you got comfortable with the way of working it, and I felt like it helped me take advantage of really understanding how to use the character. Like there's this roll mechanic, and this is another weird one. It was one of the optional bonus upgrades that you can actually equip where you do a roll to dodge.
Yeah.
You don't have to use that, but I found that
dodgy roll.
There's no way I could have played that game without that. It became the most essential mechanic in the game. So I'd constantly rolling and using a few different magic attacks in a certain way. And I really felt like playing it on deity got me to understand how to truly get my head around to control it skillfully. And it was at times it was like you're tearing your hair out, but it still felt doable. And even getting right to the very end, and then when I finally did it, and the DLC as well, which was I think that, well, the one I got, the particular one with the green cover, comes with like, I think it's Underworld DLC, but there's another one with like some I don't know, like trolls or something, or goblin or something.
Yeah.
I never got to play that, but that's just on the map. You go into another area. It kind of reminds me of the old Mario World maps where you'd see the whole map, but there'd be certain areas like Star World, and it'd go into its own area.
Yeah.
And then you do levels on that.
Yeah,
that's what the DLC was like on this, and they normally lock with a padlock. But if you get the original, obviously I got the like the brand new copy. I got the code with it. But I couldn't complain. Definitely a fiver. And that's why I'm a bit more optimistic about it. And it was enough to go for it twice. And it was one of those where you probably go for it about between 15, 20 hours the first time. Probably a bit quicker. I go through things a bit slow because I tend to take my time a bit, and really explore.
Yeah.
But I probably went through it a couple of times in like 30 hours or something and really got my
you got your money's worth. Yeah.
I really recommend that as a co-op game. I think it's really good.
Personally, if you're a Sacred fan and if you played a lot of Sacred 2, I didn't, because I had an issue with that game. There's a class called the Seraphim. I played it because at the time I was like, it's got a gun. This is interesting. I play ranged classes in the majority of things I played, preferably archers. But this time I was like, it's got a gun. And then I realized that this gun is a one-handed weapon. So I was like, can I use two guns and dual wield them? And it was like, no, you can't. And I was like, well, this sucks. And I never really got that far into it. But even just playing the little bit of what I played of Sacred 2, you were spoilt for choice in everything you wanted to do, really. Like, you had the ability to do what you wanted when you wanted. It wasn't go to a town. You did have quite a bit of choice of just going wherever, really.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that it was open world, like this, with Sacred 3 being linear, it does strip away freedom straight away.
Right, yeah. But again, that's to be expected from people who are expecting something different.
So,
like they've got an expectation of that game to stay true to what it was. I can understand it. And we've said this before when we talked about it. It's like Mass Effect. If Mass Effect 3 came out and it was a completely different game altogether, it became less about the
people
RPG
would hate
and
it.
more of a first-person game. It's equivalent of doing that, so I can totally understand. So it is that in a sense. It's happened with like the Resident Evil series, you know, where
the Tomb Raider series. They did that.
The Tomb Raider
They've
series.
gone
Although
from,
I think the Tomb Raider series they've done all right because generally I've heard people say a lot of good things about the reboot and
I
the
do
way it's
remember
changed.
something Total Biscuit said about it, which I find quite humorous. Since he hates Tomb Raider, he's really not a fan. He said when Tomb Raider went from 3D action platformer to 3D first-person shooter, while everyone cried, I celebrated.
Really?
Ah.
When was that? Because I've been out of the loop.
I don't even. It might not have been something he said. It might have been on the Steam curator list. Basically, it's on Steam. People can review games and be curators, and if you follow them, you will see what they've reviewed recently.
Right.
And I do follow Total Biscuit. He does review a lot of things, and he's a very honest.
Yeah, I've seen a
critic,
few
so-
of his videos, you know. I know he reviewed like an awful game that was on Steam that got renowned as being an awful game. It's something with rats in it.
Oh, I think I own
Bad
that. I
Rats or
got Bad
something.
Rats. Yeah, I got
Is that
trolled one Christmas, and someone sent it me as a
I
gift.
was going to say that this actually got renowned as a gift item.
Oh, don't even talk to me about it. It's
Christmas,
like,
so you got stung by
Levi,
that.
look, I got you a Christmas present, and I opened it, and it's like, do you want to accept this gift into your Steam library? I just kept it in my gift inventory.
Yeah, it was
So when
essentially
Christmas came around, I could gift it him back.
it was essentially a puzzle or like a flat, a bit like Lemmings in a way, but the mechanics of it,
Crap.
or the physics of it rather, were so way up. They
It
were
wasn't
random.
good. It wasn't
They
good.
didn't follow a specific pattern, so it was kind of impossible to set up.
Yeah. I mean, the TB stuff's great, anyway.
Yeah, so going through, I've only got a few left, like three or four. To go in, into June, what did I go through then? There's, a series that I started. I've got one, it was like an episodal series. More of a point and click thing, but by Telltale. Telltale had one of their sales on the
Telltale,
PSN
are they the people who made the Walking Dead games?
Yeah, Walking Dead, and they've done
They've
quite
done
a few
Tales of the
others.
Borderlands now,
Yeah,
which is people like it. I've never been a fan of that kind of game. It feels more like a, how do I put it?
Fetch Quest.
No, not
Scenario.
really. The best way would to compare it to Japanese visual novels.
Right.
It feels more like you're watching.
Are you talking about the Telltale game or the
Yeah,
actual
the
Borderlands?
Telltale
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Borderlands was Fetch Quest after Fetch
Yeah.
Quest. That was another matter in its
I
entirety.
don't know, but I've not even mentioned the game that I'm playing, but I'll do in a sec. But it did. I played quite a bit of Borderlands, as I mentioned, but I'm not invested in the story enough because it doesn't come
show
across as
you
a
really. Yeah.
storyline type of game to care about a Telltale game in a similar way to their Minecraft story game, which is one of the newest ones that's been launched.
I'm not gonna play it.
My nephew got that for Christmas. I've seen a bit of that, and I can understand it from a selling point of view though. But Minecraft is big, so you can imagine a lot of kids getting it. But it's more like that looks like it's going to be aimed more at kids rather than general fans of that kind of thing in general. It's no Walking Dead. The Walking Dead. Telltale.
Did you play the Walking Dead games?
Well, apart from the last episode of season 2, which I just never got around to playing.
So you played them?
Yeah, excellent, absolutely excellent.
Then again, I never liked Walking Dead, so.
It's the only. I find it hard to admit to this. It's the only game that I'd say that actually made me pretty much shed a tear. That was specifically the very end of the first season.
Not even Final Fantasy X made you cry.
No, I'm sure we talked about this once before. No.
Don't speak to me. Don't speak to me anymore. Don't speak to me anymore. Well, whatever.
I know what you're referring to. The game, going back to
what we're going on
we
originally.
love going off topic. Is a game called Sam and Max. Now, do you know anything about
Sam and Max? Let me check. No, I have absolutely no idea.
It's actually. I don't know if it was originally a cartoon, but I know it is a cartoon from the 90s. And I think there might have been a comic on it. I wasn't trying to say Comic-Con. But it's essentially a point and click that started, and I think that was in about 94.
A point and click game.
Yeah,
Like
with a detective dog.
Like the LucasArts games.
And Sam is the detective dog, yeah, and Max is a little rabbit with like insane, crazy humour. It's actually really funny. I think they only did like the cartoon, like about 10 episodes of it, but that's something I've yet to watch. It is really funny. It is really funny. There's a lot of humour in there.
Yeah, so it's quite humorous.
But they made that first one, and then I think like some point in the 2000s they created a sequel, and this was the final season. Like they created a third one it must have been around about 2009, so it's a little bit dated now, but it's called Sam and Max the Devil's Playhouse. And
that
again, it was on
familiar.
offer. I mean, you're talking about $2.99 or something, but the actual game normally retails for $19.99. I wouldn't have paid £20 for it, but I'd still say it does offer a lot. It's like it's kept me engaged for a good sort of 25 hours so far, and I'm up to the last episode. I've not started it yet. There's 5 different episodes. I think depending on how you get on with the mechanics, like determines how you get through. But each one of them is quite different. You essentially like it's a point and click, but you can walk around and you get some special space toys, and they're like based on kids' toys that you get, like the is it kaleidoscope things or whatever.
Kaleidoscope.
The little.
It's like
the thing you put up to your eyes, and then as you click it, you see another picture.
No, that's not a kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope's
Yeah,
the one you look through, and it's the all kinds of different geometric shapes. And
I
thought
I was wrong there. But you get different things like that, and like a little telephone, and the telephone might take you to call somebody, and then warp you to somewhere else, and then you'll get like a ventriloquist box or a little doll ventriloquist doll that'll like. Cause you to look at somebody, and then you can pretend to mimic like a voice over that person, and it'll change certain things. So you might be looking at someone, and suddenly your character will start pretending to do the voice of that character.
This sounds crazy.
It's a bit weird. It's what else is there? There's kind of this. Again, it's been a while ago, and I've not really thought about this game. Really, I should have done in advance. But there's a lot of different quirky things that this game does that I've not experienced in other point-and-click games, and I really thought it was quite fresh. You use a lot of these items to basically solve your puzzle. And what it turns out is that Max, who's the little rabbit,
I'm going to guess spoiler alert?
No, not really. It's just he's like got some crazy brain or something that allows him to take advantage of these objects, and by using them, they have magic powers, and each one of them has a different type of ability. Like the phone, like I said, you'll ring it, and as long as you've spoke to someone who's got a phone, you can then teleport to that person. But it's one of those, I can't remember the company, but them little classic phones with the like the face on the front of it, and it's like a little, it's a classic sort of kids toy. Like you might not have seen it.
On the front of
you've probably not seen it. Like probably don't even make them anymore. But like,
don't forget, I'm like a late '90s kid. '98.
No doubt they probably still make them, like updated versions. But yeah, it's lots of weird things like that. But you essentially go
standard point-and-click adventure, I guess.
Yeah, there's sort of like a general story that ties all the episodes together, but each one seems to be wildly different, and that's what I like about
it's like crazily different. That's interesting.
And there's a lot of comedy in there, but I don't need.
I have my own point and click to go through anyway.
Yeah, if we skip down to about August, Mass Effect 3's on there, so that'll have been when I finally finished the Mass Effect series. I know I played 2 earlier. Don't
spoil this for me, because I will get them eventually.
Again, I'm not going to spoil that, but I will put that out there, and I've said that already in the previous series, that has become my all-time favourite gaming series, and it's because of the way that the 3 games come together to form one giant game, like as a series. It feels like like as you watch a TV series and you get invested into it, it really carries on really well, and few games do that, and I can understand why, because they need to appeal to newcomers who haven't gone back to previous ones. But this one, it's almost sacrilege to not play them in order, and I can never understand why someone would start on, say, 2. In fact, it was only last weekend.
I can understand someone starting on 2, because I started on 1, but 1 feels so vastly different to 2. 1 can get boring with scanning planets and scanning more planets and
I know.
still
Yeah.
scanning planets.
Yeah. There is things about the first one that actually is a bit not enjoyable to go through. But you really have to play that game to experience the whole storyline, and it gives you there's a lot of positives of playing it. There's you're introduced to the world from the start. You're introduced to like a whole race of number of races of people. You're introduced to everything. You start to learn about the Reapers, about everything. But there's this big mystery that's still unsolved. And that continues into the second one. The second one I really thought was one of my favourite ones. It took that even further.
It's the one with the invisible man in, isn't it?
Third one's good, but it wasn't quite as good. They perfected the gameplay. The gameplay is excellent. The graphics are excellent. But
I just remember the ending getting a lot of controversy.
Continuation of like the previous ones, but it was a focus on finishing that mission and stopping the Reapers at the end. But
I heard a lot of controversy about the ending.
Yeah, I mean we've been through this before.
Have we?
Yeah,
I have no recollection. Recollection. Anyway, but yeah, Mass Effect 3, the Mass Effect games. I love the idea of them, but I'm a fantasy fan.
It still is a fantasy game. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sci-fi doesn't it doesn't do it for me. Is it BioWare?
BioWare, yeah.
They did Dragon Age, right?
Yeah.
So you have Mass Effect. I have Dragon Age. I'm still playing Dragon Age. I've played 1. I've played Origins 2. I'm on Inquisition at the moment.
It is one that's intrigued me, and I know like if you've not listened to any of the episodes, there is another one we do talk about Mass Effect and Dragon Age. And
yeah, we do.
You've been through. You have played the first 2, haven't you?
I've played Origins. I played as a mage.
And it was the second one that people didn't like.
And
it was boxed off in a like. The
it was mainly in one city in Kirkwall actually, and 2 I played as a rogue, which was even worse because 2 was focused heavily on mages and Templars, which are 2 of the classes you can play. And as a rogue, you're a non-participant in that. I just kind of felt like you tacked along. But that's what it felt like anyway. So, take the lead, son. Carry on.
Mass Effect though, definitely recommend it, and I can't wait for Mass Effect 4 to come out.
They're doing a 4th.
I was gonna say I wouldn't.
I wouldn't want if they've closed the series off and they've made a finale. Let it lie.
This is going to be. This is going to take place in. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go back to later because we'll talk about.
We'll talk about it.
Just a few. Not much left. End of August, actually, finished Bayonetta for the first time.
Oh!
And I know I brought this up previously.
Crazy
as well.
Bullet Time. Which time it's called? It's not called Bullet Time.
I actually at Christmas I bought this for a friend of mine. Because I was just like on eBay and I was like I needed to get some presents for people, and I thought I don't normally buy presents for mates. It's not like something to do. But I just saw it was like a $5. I thought it's definitely the kind of thing he'd be after. And I've been telling him to get it, but he hadn't got around to it. So I thought I'll buy it. And when it arrived, I rang him up and he's like, first thing he said to me, "Oh, guess what I've got? Bayonetta." I was like, "You're joking? It just come through in the post."
That must have been.
That's why I was ringing him up, but not to tell him that I got him. I was to tell him I've got my present, and it's a bit gutted. But Bayonetta is excellent Devil May Cry clone. Only clone because it was made by the same guy who made the series at the beginning. He made. I can't remember his name, but he introduced the series when in the first 2 games. Then he left ship, and then it evolved in its own way. I've only ever played the first 2.
What, Devil May Cry's?
Yeah.
I started 1, I've played 4, and I've played the remake. 1, I think the first 2 had that very the old camera system where you was
like
walking.
Resident Evil, and that's what I love about it. That's something that I highly enjoy in games. I really like that old static camera feel. It's something about the atmosphere, the restricted viewing angles and stuff that I really think
works
is important.
really good in horror
Because we are so used to being able to move the camera around in games, and I get that, and that's all good, but sometimes I like to have that limitation. A lot of people used to moan about tank controls in Resident Evil and stuff like that, and that was where you had to use the D-pad and your left and right to spin around on the spot and forward to move forward.
Oh, like the old Tomb Raider games.
But they would adjust the difficulty of the game to suit that and the needs. So it's kind of looking back, I can understand. Yeah, it seems horrendous, but I think Resident Evil got that bang on. But yeah.
Bayonetta,
Bayonetta is a very good, fast-paced game, and he took Devil May Cry and put it on steroids, put a female character in, give you 4 guns rather than 2.
Then it just amps up the sexualization that is known for in Japan.
That's the only thing. I'm not.
That was a downside
I'm
to
not
me. I'm not a fan of it.
I'm
not a fan of
all
it.
that in games. I just think it's
the whole hair thing was like.
I thought that was interesting. I like the hair thing.
It was interesting.
I really did like that.
But because I have played Bayonetta before, not the game. I think I played the demo, and I played the demo of Bayonetta 2 as well.
Yeah.
And to me, 2 is a letdown. But that's not because the game's a letdown. It's because the platform it's on is a letdown. I'm not a fan of Wii controls ever. Period. But with Bayonetta, I think the hair thing was good, but the fact that Japan went and did what Japan does a lot with games and just sexualized it to hell to make it sell kind of peed me off a bit with it.
Yeah.
What I did play of it was great, though.
You've got to I think
the whole juggle thing that you could start a combo. I mean, typical DMC is when you start a combo, it's like you hold triangle and you'll knock the enemy up into the air, and then you can then you go up in the air with it. But with Bayonetta, it's you knock them up in the air and then you juggle them with a combination of these kicks. But when you kick, you start shooting them with the guns on your feet and everything. I found that so awesome.
It's really a game where it pays to understand the mechanics, and there are a bunch of, they're called Alfheim bonus stages. And
is that the book thing?
No, they're like portals that appear in the ground, and usually they appear sort of in a previous place you've gone, just as you're about to progress somewhere else and you can't go back. But if you then just go back, tell the route you've just been before you progress, sometimes you'll find a secret portal that's opened up. So you go through that and it'll go into a challenge, but you can do it over and over again. But each challenge is designed to sort of teach you the mechanics of the game, and there are a bunch of them in the game, and each difficulty's got its own as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it teaches you basic
I went
mechanics.
through it on when was that? That was at the end of August, and then I played it again shortly after and finished it on hard. And that opens up infinite climax mode. They take out Witch Time. Witch Time is where you.
It's the slow-mo thing where you
it's
dodge.
If you dodge, which is, I love that. If you hit R2 at the right point, you do a flip and dodge. But if you do it at that tiny window just before you're about to get attacked, the whole world changes and it becomes a slow-mo for so many seconds.
Yeah, but then, I do remember that.
But then there's something else you can get later on, which is like bat time or something. But I can't. A flock of bats, I think it is, and it's like where it gives you an extra point where if you actually get attacked, because what I found quite often, I don't know whether it's probably down a combination of, I'm going to say lag and also just
input latency and stuff. Yeah.
And also, your own fault, because it is very, very quick,
fast-paced and demanding.
But I found by getting this certain ability that you get, flock of bats, it adds the option to be able to, if you hit the button as you get hit, it gives you a tiny, really tiny window, so tiny that in the tutorial it took me about 50 goals to pull it off once, because you're intentionally trying to hit it on that point. It's just so short. But when you're playing the game, you find yourself doing it a lot. Because you're not intending on doing. It's
just reactionary.
You're a bit late to actually get the window for Witch Time, but you get it to the point where you just get hit and you hit it. It gives you an extra window, but instead of Witch Time, you turn into a flock of bats and then reapparate into a person again, so you don't take the damage.
Ah, so that's interesting.
Actually gives you, and I love that. And there's a lot of different abilities you can get. And as you play it, and once you play it, you can play like New Game Plus, change the difficulty, go through the game again, but you've got your abilities, and there's more stuff to buy, more things to do. And you start to, you realise you can take on the extra difficulty a bit better. And there's other things like medals in the game, like where your trophies you get at the end of the level, where you go through the level. It might be split up into medals and stuff like checkpoints, and each time you go through a checkpoint you can get gold, silver, bronze, platinum, pure.
Yeah, I know there's like a time attack like thing with it.
Yeah, but that's that anyway. We're doing it again. We're going off on one.
We're going off on
Well, I'm going
one.
off on one.
That's you, isn't it?
I think we're right near the end now. There's a couple ones. In September, I played a co-op of Resistance on the PS3. That was returning back to the original
game.
The original first-person game by Insomniac, I think it is.
Insomniac. Do you know what? Insomniac. I'm pretty sure Insomniac Games the developer. They made the Ratchet and Clank series. I am pretty sure they made one of the Ratchet and Clank games.
Yeah, they did.
And
I know that's your.
So that's one of my favourite PS2
Just looking
games.
through it, I'd noticed I'd already played this earlier in the year, so I'm not going to talk about the game again. But I think that was when I went through the co-op with my good friend James, and I think we played on Superhuman. Oh, I love that game because when you play it on as a co-op on the hardest difficulty, it really works well with the AI. The AI is good. And sometimes it surprises you they'll think about what to do, and sometimes one will just try and charge you or come at you. Other times they'll stay back. And I've had cases where one's just mooched off and then appeared in a random area, like direct, got me from a different angle. It's really surprised me, that game. And that's from 2006.
That's better than Call of Duty's way of doing veteran. Their way of doing veteran is making it so you die in 2 hits and infinite wave spawn tactics.
I think
it's so
a really
stupid.
Good game. And the final one, which was in October, I didn't actually finish anything after that because I spent so much time on Assassin's Creed, I think. And I must have run out of time playing games going up towards Christmas anyway. But
yeah.
Was one that you're playing at the moment, and that's Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Deus Ex is on the backlog. I've done the first level, actually.
I've had that game for
I wonder if
couple
you
of
have the
years.
same issue I am having currently.
My favourite game of all time, before Mass Effect was, it still is pretty much. It was the original Deus Ex on the PC. It is such an excellent game.
I had the chance to get in that, actually.
It's a very good game even to this day, but it's a good game for its time especially. It did so many things that were forward thinking that didn't exist at the time really, and it was perfect. I played it a few years after release, and it was intense because I was just playing the PS1 until I played that on the PC, so the jump was incredible. And again, it's got a lot of similarities to Mass Effect in some ways, except for it's more of a first-person stealth game. And Human Revolution is a really good game, but there were times that I got a bit bored of it. I think I played it on hard, and there were times when I was trying to redo sections over and over again.
I'm playing it on normal because I think I've had this is the second time I've actually owned it. I owned it first on PS3 and did go through it on hard then, and I didn't complete it, but I think I got a few levels into it. My issue with it was the stealth was very repetitive. It feels as if if you find a vent,
I know what you mean.
That's all you need to do for the stealth. It's not like Splinter Cell stealth where with Splinter Cell, if you're playing on realistic, everything you meticulously planned every kill. And after that, it was right. This guy's dead. What am I doing with the body? The body can't just stay there. Like you had to plan everything. With that, it's just you can kind of float through it a bit.
I was a little bit like that with SOCOM.
SOCOM.
Yeah, the original SOCOM series. Like I played the first one and the second one, and they were excellent on the PS2. I think they eventually changed it and ended up making it too much of an action game, like a first-person style.
Yeah.
It wasn't first-person, but it was too in that direction. It was like applying that kind of mechanic to a game like SOCOM. That was excellent for the stealth. But Deus Ex, I like the storyline's really good though.
I do like the whole
got the augmentation stuff going on.
It already has me wrapped up in the first room. You're speaking to a female doctor who's the lead in her area on basically these people with implants have to have a drug to stop the body from rejecting the implant. It's bile something lean.
Again, I've
is it like bile mesoline or something? I can't remember.
Something like that. It's funny how you can. You've been playing it since, but it's been a few months and I've forgotten those little details.
Do you know what?
But yeah, essentially, it is something that stops the body from rejecting augmentations.
She's found a way of people not needing that or revolutionizing it, and it's all through this subject, Patient X.
Yeah.
And nothing's known on Patient X. You do pick up a case file of Patient X, and it doesn't have a name, and half of it's blacked out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
And it's kind of remarkable because after that happens, and when you first start to control Adam Jensen, and the first mission, like the tutorial, everything's gone tits up, everything's blowing up. Doctor's missing. You don't know what's happened, and eventually you.
Adam Jensen's
the head of security and the main character.
What's it called? Sarif Industries.
Sarif Industries, and basically, it gets to the point where you fail at your task, I think, and you end up getting deeply hurt. And when you wake up, you are implanted.
Yeah.
With all these implants.
It progresses onto other industries, sort of doing dodgy, corrupt things. And
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go into it too deep
because I'm still playing through it.
Yeah.
And the thing with it is that you don't have issues. Like from where I'm playing up to the moment, you've had some calibration issues with the eye implants, but you've not like needed to have this injection of this bio something, and it's like that's what's like kind of triggering me. I'm just like, is Patient X Adam Jensen?
Yeah.
So that's what hooks me into it.
Yeah, it kind of. I've forgotten a lot of this like that, but it is an interesting game. It is definitely. I know I've talked to some other people about this game before, and I've had mixed reactions from other people. But generally, most people tend to like it. I was worried at first that I wouldn't get to grips with the character and being a new person because I was so used to JC Denton from the original game. But I've got to admit, he's a guy who plays.
I do like Jensen.
He's a good.
He's a good character for it.
It kind of does remind me of JC Denton a little bit.
I've not played the first, so I wouldn't know. But I've got the drug name. You know, it was going to get on my nerves, so I went and googled it, and it's neuroposine, or Nopos, or Nupos is what it's known as, and it is the drug which they use. It's an anti-rejection drug.
Yeah.
Neuroposine. Anyway, there we go. That's your trivia for today. Deus Ex anti-rejection implant drug known as neuroposine.
And yeah, so I've kind of gone through.
I'll get you 12 points on a
bunch
countdown.
I've gone through a bunch of games that I played last year, and I thought we'd just talk about them.
Yes. So it's a way to kick off the new year. I mean, we've been completely out of it, to be honest. Like Christmas,
so
I was ill, you was ill, we were busy, and shit happened. So hopefully this gets us back into the swing of things, really, innit?
Yeah, I bet we've gone way over. What about you? Like, what have you been playing?
I took a step back from single-player games in the year of 2015. I played a lot of multiplayer-based games, fighting games and MOBAs, especially, really. I played Dota 2.
Delta 2?
Dota. Defense of the Ancients.
Yeah, I was going to say, Delta was like an old first-person game.
First-person game.
Army thing, yeah.
Dota 2. I played League of Legends, obviously. I hit gold at the end of the season, when season ended in around not September, December, I hit gold 5. In pre-season I hit gold 3, and I'm not ranked yet, so hopefully I'll be going places with that.
This is all PC based stuff, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely PC based. Games like that. They released Smite, which is a third person MOBA, something like League, on Xbox One. Obviously there's gonna be people like it, people don't. I'm not a fan personally, but that's what I've been playing, League, and then I played fighting games a lot. I did pick myself up at the beginning of the year of 2015. I bought myself a arcade stick.
I
spent
I didn't realise you'd only
a
bought
lot
last
of
year.
money.
How much was that going?
This was £130 worth of arcade stick.
Right, so you've got
and it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful.
Has it got like what is it?
A Hurry Wrap V4 arcade stick with a Hayabusa stick and Kuro buttons, and it's beautiful. Now, at the time I was playing Injustice, which Injustice Gods Amongst Us, if you've heard of it, is a fighting game based on the Marvel, and I think it might not be Marvel, it might be DC Universe. You know, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Joker, like them characters was in it. Scorpion out of Mortal Kombat made a cameo appearance as well. Well, not a cameo, he's a playable character.
Right.
Because NetherRealm Studios, the people who made Mortal Kombat, actually developed the game.
Yeah.
So I was playing that at the time, and it was actually my first proper fighting game where I really did get into it. I dabbled in Street Fighter 4 before that.
Yeah.
And oh god, that was a pain in the ass, really. There's no way of really describing it. The idea was great. Superheroes, you could pick anyone, but I think they really wanted to push the whole Batman versus Superman thing.
Yeah.
Because I know they've got a movie. There's a movie coming out about that, isn't there? Batman versus Superman? Or there's something going on about it.
Is that not even out yet? No.
I don't think.
It was
Well, Suicide Squad's coming, innit?
2 months ago that I saw the trailer for that.
Suicide Squad's coming, which looks really interesting. I think I'm going to go watch that, actually. But yeah, the Batman and Superman as characters were insanely overpowered. They had access to a lot of things. I think they were like A tier at least. They were up there within like the best characters. And you kind of feel compelled to play that, because if you play something other than that, you feel as if you put yourself at a disadvantage. So I picked. I actually didn't end up playing them characters. I picked up Nightwing.
Right.
Do you know who Nightwing is in that universe? Or are you not a comic fan, really?
I don't follow it intensely. I've heard the name. I just can't picture it.
Basically, Batman's sidekick Robin. Before he was Robin, he went by the name Nightwing.
You know
Dick
what?
Grayson.
It might ring a bell because I actually watched Batman versus Robin. Something that I downloaded. Me and my housemate watched. It was like an animation.
Yeah.
And it was from last year. It was a fairly new one. And Robin was in that as like he had a different name on there. Like I was thinking of Talon, but that was someone else. I think Well, you say Nightwing? Yeah. I think.
Nightwing.
Because he has Nightwing in it.
He has the two. I can't remember what they're called. Like echidnas or something.
I do remember
like
that name.
The two baton things.
Right.
And then they combine together to make like a bow staff kind of thing. He's got going on. I picked him up. And the thing that made this fighting game stand out from the rest of them is that it had an ability called Trait. And it was a circle button, and for me it was like medium kick. So it was like one of my buttons on my stick when I was using it.
Yeah.
And everyone's trait is different for the character. Like,
Yeah.
Superman's made him do more damage on punches and kicks, which made him like get 40% combos for cheap as chips. It was kind of bollocks. Batman got batarangs that span around him.
Right.
That he could send to fly at people, or he could just have them like spin around him.
Yeah.
But Nightwing, his was his ability to switch between using these two singular batons or combining them into the stick.
Right.
Which was really great. So I played him quite a bit, and it was the first fighting game I played online.
Right, okay.
It wasn't a pleasant experience.
I can imagine, because I played Street Fighter X Tekken briefly online not long ago.
I came to the party late in Injustice, which meant all the people who started playing the game who were new to it had gone. So that left you with everyone who knew what they were doing and had thousands of games played. And it was like, oh, this guy's a cyborg. Cyborg's not a good character. 20 seconds later, I'm practically in a ball crying at how badly I got beaten. But it was an interesting learning curve at the fact that you think you're good at the game, you can beat the AI, and you can do solidly against the AI, get a few flawlesses, you go online, you get smashed 2-0 five times in a row by the same guy. Okay.
Do they not have like any kind of level system?
They have a leveling system.
Weaker characters.
But it probably would have been better if I was playing ranked matches and not player matches.
Right, okay.
Because ranked, you do have a matchmaking rating, which is I don't know whether it's an ELO-based system, which is what they use in chess. But they have a matchmaking rating system.
Is this on your PS4 as well?
Yeah. The reason I picked up Injustice was I got PlayStation Plus, which is needed, unfortunately, to play online. I think that's a pretty shitty ploy by Sony, to be honest. But you get free games with it.
Yeah.
So, but you don't own the games. You rent them.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I had to change account recently. So I no longer have access to half the crap I was playing.
I've still not.
I don't blame you. It's not buying it. If you get a PS4, you're gonna want it, really.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It kind of sucks without it. But yeah, that was Injustice. You could say I completed it. I did the story. I did all the story, which puts you through different characters, and it was enjoyable. Moving on to the next fighting game I picked up was Guilty Gear Xrd Sign.
Oh, I remember you mentioning.
Now, it was my first Guilty Gear game, and they're an air dash fighter, which is like a very anime-esque fighter. It's a lot more fast-paced than your typical Street Fighter, where you have a lot of just normal punches and kicks going out. You dance around each other.
It's a bit one of those crazy ones. It's a bit more like Marvel versus Capcom, sort of.
Not to that extent. Right. Marvel versus Capcom is just that's bollocks on a whole other level. I was watching some pro play, and it's just like, what? Too many particle effects. Just wait a minute. Let my brain process what's actually happening on the screen first.
Yeah.
But that happened, and I picked up this game, GG Xrd Sign, and I played it a little bit, and this was actually more demoralizing than playing Injustice Online. I was like, right, I know what a Roman cancel is. I know how to break, and I know how to burst, which is basically their version of breaking. I know all this cool stuff. Clearly, I've got the basics down.
You'd expect, yeah, definitely.
But me being an idiot, I had actually imported this from America. So the only people who would actually...
Really?
Yeah, I've got an American version. So the only people who would have the game are the people who were good at the game. And not just good at the game, really good at the game. So I'm going on thinking, just do some footsies, just throw fireballs. When in doubt, throw fireballs. Yeah, it didn't work.
So when you got it, like, did you get it sort of before it got released over here, obviously?
Oh, definitely. But I actually made an American account to get the first character of DLC free, called Elfelt.
How much did that cost you?
Free. You don't have to have PlayStation Plus to download DLC from the store.
Oh,
you
not
just
the
need
DLC. Sorry, not the DLC.
The
actual game, yeah.
I think it was like 30 odd quid at the time.
You get the physical copy.
Yeah, I got a physical copy. I was going to spend 60 odd quid, but I couldn't justify spending £60 and £130 on a stick at the time.
Right.
I did want the case because the reason I bought the game was the artwork.
Yeah.
I was a great fan. I'm still a big fan of the artwork now, and I just loved it.
Well, I do. I've always loved the way Japanese artwork stands out. I do like the boxes. That's one thing that draws me in with RPGs a lot.
The box art is great. I think that the whole anime stuff they can sometimes push it a bit too far and go a bit too simplified or a bit too unrealistic with the eyes and crap, but it's good.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, just there are. It depends. It depends on the style entirely. Even there's always variations and stuff like Studio Ghibli stuff's really
Studio Ghibli. They did My Neighbor Totoro, right? And stuff
they did
like
Ni no Kuni, which is again I wouldn't mind checking out. Yeah, that's it looks very like Dragon Quest 8.
I've never played a Dragon Quest game. I'm going to play the new one eventually after I play Persona 5 and Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15.
I'm sure I've heard from someone's YouTube channel that Dragon Quest 8 is getting a re-release on something. I don't know whether that includes like PS4 as well.
Oh, that'd be awesome as hell.
I'd assume that they would go that route because it makes sense. But Dragon Quest 8 is an excellent RPG. It really is.
So anyway,
I never played any of the others.
Any others? I've not.
It is good.
I have to be in the mindset to play RPGs. I really do, because one of the games I played last year, after playing GGXR, because I played a few games online and got bodied a lot harder. I mean, in Injustice, you could kind of break and you could clash and you could get health back using this clash system. You would both clash, and the person who wagered more meter would win the clash and gain health or do more damage to the person, depending on whether they were activating the clash or defending against the clash. But in Guilty Gear Xrd, there was no system such as that. And the other thing in Guilty Gear Xrd is resets were a thing. You could intentionally drop a combo and pick it back up, so it felt as if the other person couldn't do anything against you, and you could literally 100-0 someone if you were good enough with a reset. And that happened to me quite a few times, and I just couldn't get it. But after that, I stepped back off the fighting game scene and more into single players and picked up Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, we were talking about Mass Effect before. Yeah. This is where I'm more of a fan of Inquisition. Well, not Inquisition, just Dragon Age in general. I'm more of a fantasy person. I'm like some people like the guns. I'm more the archer dude. That's what I like. I'm the archer guy, and that was what drew me to Dragon Age Origins. And I've obviously played the first two.
What's how does the combat differ? Because I know they're very like Mass Effect. You've got the choices and stuff, but how does it combat itself?
The combat, As an archer, it plays remarkably close. Except you don't aim. You lock onto your target, and if you hold RT, you will shoot arrows at your target. But square, triangle, and circle can all have abilities mapped to them. And R1.
Okay.
I think it's square, triangle, circle, and R1 can have abilities mapped to them. And if you held L2, it would bring up a second bar that used the same hotkeys, but you could have different abilities mapped to them.
Right. Okay.
And obviously, you could go through the story and you progress, and you can get to upgrade these abilities, and you could get runes in your weapon, which make the abilities do more damage. Or you get these rings, and it'd be like ring of explosive shot. Explosive shot now does 5% more damage, which is quite interesting. But I got like quite a lot of the way through that, and then like I started changing my mind on the character, because I realized in the game is that BioWare used to be very I don't know how to put it, with story decisions. You know how you could talk to characters, and then you have the obviously romance options have always been a thing in BioWare games. This
I never knew that.
was the first. You played all of Mass Effect knowing.
No, I know that, but I didn't know it was a thing that BioWare did.
Well,
in their other games. I've never played a BioWare game until that. Well, no, technically that's not true. I did play a very brief bit of another renowned game, which is Knights of the Old Republic, but I never got that far into it.
Yeah, they do it in that. I'm pretty sure they do it in that as well. But in Dragon Age, yeah, I think it was the first Dragon Age game where there was more romance options if you played a specific class and race. It was a female elf. If you played a female elf, you had more options for you than any other character. And there was a bit of a controversy about it. People will obviously stir shit whenever possible. I found it quite interesting that it wasn't balanced. I found it
balanced from a storyline perspective.
No, balanced from a decision-making perspective, where you can make the same choices you could. Like, if say you play a female character, if you weren't an elf, this certain character wouldn't be able to go as in depth in the conversation and learn more about him if you weren't an elf.
That's kind of what I meant. If you didn't do that from an informational perspective, rather than gaining abilities, the actual ability to go in and understand more of the storyline, would you be restricted?
Yeah, because basically there's an elf called Solas.
Yeah.
And he's an apostate, which is a mage who has strayed from the Chantry. Because basically the Templars are like the dog keepers of a mage, really. They're like the leash. They hold the mage's leashes, because if a mage goes out of control, Templars march in, kill it, job done. Or make it a tranquil, where they have no emotions and no free will.
Right, okay.
Well, not no free will, but they take away pretty much everything that makes a human a human.
Yeah.
And he will tell you more about elf history and stuff like that if you obviously are a female elf, and garner more favour with him. And it was interesting because in some games it feels like there's 5 on this side, there's 5 on this side. The fact that there was an imbalance, it kind of showed that like everyone's different. People prefer different things. I found it quite enjoyable. But yeah, I played that through, and the thing that stood out more to me wasn't the combat. I didn't find myself enjoying the combat as much as I found myself getting wrapped up talking to everybody.
Right.
You could there's a certain part in it where you're actually at a ball, like a high class ball. I think there's a princess there, and you're going around as like a third party. You have I think there were some rebels or something, and the obviously the High Crown, and you're there as the Inquisition. You are the Inquisitor. When you say march, the whole Inquisition marches. So you're obviously a very respected and
class, yeah.
Not respected in a way, because people were trying to denounce you at the beginning. I'm pretty sure people were denouncing your name. People were dragging your name.
But you
through
had
the
a
mud.
lot of power.
But your name meant something. So you're at this high class ball. You could be talking to anyone, but as soon as if you said something like, it was the Mage and Templars thing. If you was to say I don't think the mages should have their access to magic restricted, and they should be allowed to do this like that, other people would pick up on that, and then you would lose favor with another mage who thinks that mages should be changed, mages should be controlled. And it was that whole aspect of what you said had meaning
That
in
reminds
the ripple effects. It's not like just the person you're talking to. It's the other people around in the world who've heard of what you've said and now no longer agree that you're. Now you need to like try and get back in their good books.
That reminds me of a scene in Mass Effect where it's a bit different, but where Tali is under review and
The Quarian.
with her own race because of her father made a certain decision to
The Geth thing, innit?
yeah, something with the Geth, like he uncovered research. He was doing research that he wasn't supposed to be doing with the AI. And it put her
In a bad position, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. It was jeopardising her essentially her entire bond with her own race was at jeopardy. But you kind of listen to it, what's going on, and you can listen to everybody, and you can make kind of decisions that sway the output, and you do feel like it's down to you really, like what happens. And there's a bunch of decisions that you speak to different people, and you can kind of make your own mind up as you go along. But Dragon Age is one of those ones I've kind of been interested in checking out. The only thing is I feel like it's a big undertaking. Is there anything else you want to add to what you played like during the year?
Yeah, I did like after Dragon Age, I started Darksiders, which I haven't actually finished yet, and I'm still playing. I actually played a little bit more today. And it's the first game I've ever tackled on that's had that Metroidvania kind of playstyle where you can go back to places you've been.
Seriously? You never played a game like Metroidvania style?
No, not really, because I played, what I played, I played Tomb Raiders and I played Crash Bandicoot. Like that.
Right.
As a child, it was like Crash Bandicoot was great. I mean, I was looking at something on Facebook and it's like, do you remember this game? And it was Rayman, the original Rayman on PlayStation 1. Oh god, I love that game.
Yeah.
It's the first real game that's had that
You've not
effect.
played games like that. So how are you feeling like with the game so far?
It feels like it doesn't feel wrong because like obviously in Final Fantasy 13 you have like the ability on Grand Pulse to go places. Like then it becomes non-linear. And you can go and go back, and then you can go and do this Seath mission, and then come back for this other one. But that felt restricted to that one area. With this, however, you're not restricted to one area. You're actually right. I've gone and done this here. I've come back and I've got this power to fly.
Yeah.
Now this has actually allowed me to access the same area, but it's not the same area. It's given me
that's one thing about
outlook.
it. Yeah, you do get to go into areas you've already been to, but there'll be certain spots that you can't get to, and you'll see it and you'll think, why can I get there? But it's only later on in the game that you get a chance to be able to access that place because you've got another ability. And some of the abilities are quite cool. Like I briefly told you about the portal gun. That's very interesting.
The thing with me is I love the scythe. I've got a scythe on it now. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And not just that, the voice acting. I picked up the game. It was on sale, and I got like Darksiders 2, and Darksiders the Definitive Edition.
Right.
I got them all for like 10 or something. I think it was $9.99. I got all 3 games. It was a cracking deal on Steam. And I started playing it, and it was just wow. War's voice, like the voice acting, it did suit the whole. I answer to nobody.
Yeah.
It's like. I remember. I think one of the first cutscenes. After you've done the beginning of the game, when humanity's being destroyed.
Yeah.
You get dragged in front of these 3 heads called the Charred Council.
Yeah.
And he's there like, I answered the call. This is what I did. It wasn't when I came down, this happened. I answered the call. The call was happening. It wasn't I didn't come down of my own free will. He's actively fighting against it.
Yeah.
And it felt like his character had substance.
Yeah.
Not like, well, yeah, this was happening, therefore I had to come.
Yeah.
It was like, no, he's not just fighting. He's like, he's fighting against it, not just speaking it. I think the whole voice acting and the gravelly tone of his voice actually added depth to his character. It felt like someone who'd walked through war, who'd lived in war.
Yeah.
Not just some, obviously everyday. I don't know how to put it. Shonen manga hero would probably be the best equivalent of someone who just gets dragged into something. It's like, oh, I will never give up kind of thing. This is not a guy who gives up. It didn't feel like you're playing a hero.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it's an excellent game. That's a game that I got really sucked into. I love the the layout of it. I love the way that all the levels kind of intertwined, and there was a sort of linearity to it in terms of if you just followed the path forward,
you'd probably get to where you're going.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like there's always a need to go back, but unless you want to get the extra things, but you would do anyway. It wasn't like a big open world game, but but you could actually get from one place to another.
Yeah.
But it was quite interesting as you open the game up more and more and start to realizing that things branch off into each other, and in terms of the abilities you get, I really enjoyed that. It worked. It had substance to it. They were quite unique.
I just love the characters and story. I mean, there's a demon in it called Vulgrim.
Vulgrim, yeah. Is he the one that sells you stuff?
Yeah, he sells you stuff.
Yeah, I love his voice. I can't remember.
He's like gravelly.
There was a few things that I used to. I can't remember what it was. I can't quote it now. But there was a few things.
He comes out with some awesome stuff. And it's just like
I couldn't stop laughing.
Because I remember you get this thing called Earthcaller's horn, and they're like these massive doors. But if you sound this horn, they move and they become these big stone giants who are who are trapped and enslaved against their own will. And it really did grab me into the game. I just remember Vulgrim saying something that's like, "Don't worry, I'll always be here waiting," or something. Because it felt as if he's not there as a shop. This character has his own agenda. He's using you as much as you're using him.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
That, and it's like the whole. You have this dislike going into the game of demons anyway, because you've answered this call. You think this treaty which binds these realms, the angels, the demons, and humans together, has been broken. And there's like a prophecy in there. It's like, once the treaty is broken, the 4 horsemen shall ride again.
Yeah,
or something
like that. Again, it's years since I've
played. You think
it.
this treaty's been broken, and you think that's the war is coming, and you've arrived, the first horseman on the scene, but no one else is there. Death isn't there. Famine isn't there. You're the only one, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and then you don't. The destroyer comes and you get knocked out and called before the Charred Council, and humanity loses. But you have from that, he's like, why? It was demons. Demons did this. It wasn't me. It was the demons. And then it's like all of a sudden, but to get at this demon, you've got to work with them as well.
Yeah.
So even though he dislikes this
it's starting to come
demon,
back to me now. Yeah, it was something like that.
You're working with Vulgrim, and Vulgrim's like, free Samael, and you're thinking, but this Samael's a demon. He's gonna it's like, is he gonna turn his back on me, kind of thing. It's not just that. It's like, while the story's good, the combat is great. The mobs are obviously different. It's not just your standard. There's obviously your standard trash. You just hack and slash and run through them, and then there's these ones that like to self-destruct on you, kill themselves and take you with them.
You got to think about before you go and attack them. You got to think about your strategy. You never got to meet there's a character you meet eventually. I think you fight him at one point, but then he becomes like a friendly character. He's like a metalsmith or something. I think he's got a Scottish voice.
I've not finished. I'm not even closer. I think I've just done one of the first bosses.
That guy is not even. It's fairly early. Well, I don't. When I say early on, it's not even like you're not even halfway through when you get to him.
Yeah.
I think when I went through it, I must have played it about sort of maybe under 40 hours, but 38 hours or something like that. 36 hours, 38.
Yeah.
It was a good chunk of game without being too long. Like I'm playing Assassin's Creed 3 at the moment, and it just feels like it's been going on forever.
Yeah, it feels like it's dragging.
Yeah, but I think that it's a combination of the style of gameplay as well, because it's like the meaningless like fetch quests that just become too many of them, and doing a lot of repetitive things. Whereas like I'm playing Dark Souls and I put
that's a breath of fresh air, isn't it?
Well, I'm playing
dodge,
about 50,
fuck, dead, shit.
But there's something different about that. I feel like I'm trying to progress and get through something.
There's a challenge element.
The challenge element, it makes it different, and it makes you continue and go over and over again. But it still feels doable in some ways. But
yeah, well, the one for me, the one thing that made that game is that the combat is very DMC-esque, very Bayonetta-esque. It's a hack and slash. That's what it does best.
Yeah.
You have this big gauntlet. You've got this big massive sword called Chaos Eater. You've got a massive gauntlet. You can grab people and crush them in your hand. But there's this ability where if the enemy's low enough HP, you can execute them. in this.
Yeah.
Like you can press B and it's that instant kill thing. But it felt Mortal Kombat-y in a way. Like, where you think the people who've developed and created this game, they've got to have some creative mindsets to come up with this stuff. For like, there's one where you stab this guy's hand into the floor, run up, smack him in the head a bit, rip your sword out and slice him in half. Like, it's creatively bloody.
You've got your finisher moves as well, haven't you? Or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what they are. Finisher moves. Like, you press it's circle.
Yeah.
On PS3, I've got Xbox controls because I'm on PC, so it's B for me. And you press B, and it's like sometimes you'll just flip someone over and kill them, or you'll throw them up and slice them in half.
Yeah.
But the bigger the monster, then you have like these longer, more like gory effects. Like you stab this one in the hand, and then you smack him in the face a few times, give him the left, right, good night treatment. Slice him up.
Yeah, it's got that comic-y feel to it.
But it's not taken too far. It doesn't feel like comic.
No, where I was leading this to it, in a similar way to something like Prototype, has got a comic-y feel to it, you know, but it's got a maturity to it.
I didn't like Prototype though for that.
No, but I was no. This is what I was going to say. But unlike Prototype, I think Darksiders does everything right. Prototype, that's got your finisher moves.
I think my issue with Prototype was you could get through the majority of the game just playing as other people. Like you absorb people and take on a disguise, and that would.
It was the environment. I got bored
of the same city blocks
of being in the same area, and it was just slightly changed. I like the way it changed over time, but it was all you were doing is flying through the air. It was like taking Darksiders but going into a GTA environment, but dumbed down.
Have you played Infamous? Because I've always compared, like, Prototype's been the shit Infamous.
Right.
Because Infamous had substance. You're stuck in a city, but that city, not only does it change over time, that people know you're the conduit.
Do you actually go into anywhere? Because that's another about Prototype.
You go into, like, the subways.
Right.
And part of the missions, and you like try and stage. The thing is that something's happened in the city in Infamous, and the people have enclosed you in. You're quarantined off from everywhere else. So I think similar with Prototype.
Yeah.
But you try and stage an escape. Like I'm pretty sure halfway through the game you do stage an escape.
Right.
I can't remember whether you're successful or not, to be honest. But that is what I remember of Infamous, and it was great. I played. Which leads me on to the second a game I did finish, Infamous First Light.
All right. Okay.
Which is I don't know. I don't know if it's actually in the series or is it a spin-off. But you play as it's weirdly done. You play as this girl called Fetch. And basically, you're trying. One of the first missions is you're escaping from the city with your brother. You're locked in your conduit. You have these powers, and the people you're trying to be. What they're trying to do is the DEPA or something. They're trying to catch you and train you and make you into a weapon.
Yeah.
Basically,
it's kind of like what you are in Prototype.
Yeah, you're a bioweapon.
Yeah.
That's twisted as well, to be honest. But that's what happens, and the thing with this one is instead of having lightning, which is infamous Alex Zane, I think is called. Not Alex Zane. Alex Zane's a damn TV presenter. What am I on about? It's called Alex or something. I can't remember. Or am I thinking of Alex Mercer? Never mind. You play as Fetch, and she has Neon. She controls Neon, and you have this ability. You press circle, and you turn into Neon itself. You're like running through the streets, but that felt very. Go here, start mission, do mission, stop. It's up to you whether you want to do a race. You can do anything, but the game felt as if there was nothing rewarding you for doing other things other than go into a mission, start the mission, finish the mission, stop the mission.
Right, okay.
But the story was told in a very interesting way because you're playing as Fetch, but the story, Fetch has already been caught. But someone's asking her questions of what happened in Seattle at this time, and she's like, well, this is what happened. And then you're pushed into that scene of Seattle. You're playing her then.
Right. So yeah, it's just you're playing out a memory.
Yeah, the whole game is a flashback.
Right. Okay.
In a way.
Is she willingly wanting to?
She's willingly cooperating.
Right, I wasn't sure whether it was a case of like someone wants information, but you choose whether to, play off the story the way that
That's
it's
what
intended, or you can change it.
I think that's what I enjoyed about it, was the fact that it's like, so what happened in Seattle? Then it's your choice. Did you side with did you kill civvies? Did you not kill civvies? Did you take on the cops? Did you not take on the cops? Did you just blow everything up when you were just going crazy? Or
a bit like Assassin's Creed. You're in the,
yeah,
but
can't kill civvies though. That's the thing with Assassin's Creed, is you're conform. Well, from what I've seen in 2 and 3, you're conformed to Ezio, and as soon as you start killing civilians, it's like Ezio didn't kill civilians.
I had on Assassin's
desynchronization.
on get this, on the third one, you obviously there are animals involved, and you can hunt to kill and that. And if you hunt and kill any animal, but you decide to just like fuck off and go your own direction, after you do that a couple of times, it's like what's it called? Connor didn't leave animals unattended. He skinned he says like Connor skinned every single animal he killed. So you actually get penalised.
You get desync.
Yeah, you get penalised for not skinning an animal that you kill. So if you're just trying to get through somewhere, and you've got, for example, you've got wolves that are on your tail, and you've got about 5 of them, and you get bunched up into another 5 of them. You're trying to get somewhere quickly, but they're after you, so you have to kill them. Otherwise, you're going to get killed yourself. If you're trying to get somewhere, skinning them involves a cutscene. And you don't want to bother with it. You just want to get where you're going. You don't need the
I
help.
remember a similar thing in Red Dead Redemption. If you skinned an animal, a cutscene happened. There was a thing where if you stood on a certain way on top of it, the cutscene wouldn't happen. So
you can shorten it, but what I'm saying is sometimes you just want to run. You want to run to where you're getting, but you have a few dead bodies.
You just want to get away, don't you?
Yeah, and you're like, I don't want to skin them. I'm not bothered about that at the moment. It's like Connor skinned every animal he killed. Energy goes down. It's like, well, sorry.
I would like to tell you this. I'm not actually Connor. I'm pretty sure my name is Desmond.
Yeah, I can understand it with the civilians though.
Killing civilians. It's like Ezio didn't kill civilians.
Yeah.
But with this, and you're playing as Fetch, you do what you want.
Yeah.
And for an Infamous game, I think it was great. It was just a tad bit on the short side. I think I clocked around 20 odd hours.
Yeah.
I'm used to them being more in depth. Obviously, it had RPG-like elements. I say RPG-like. It wasn't really a role-playing game. You just had a leveling system and a skill system. But that was my 2015 really. Other than Mortal Kombat, but if I was to talk about Mortal Kombat, you'd be here for at least an hour.
Yeah.
Because I play Katana, I play Melina, I play Ranked, I play a lot of it. I enjoy it a lot. Fatalities, funsies. Brutalities, even better.
I mean, moving on, because time's getting on. I did want to. We were going to talk a bit about this year as well, about like sort of what we were looking forward to, but I mean, yeah, we might do that.
We might just drop it in the next episode.
There's another thing I did want to do. Remember the whole Romuck Top 100 that we were originally. What we were doing is we were dropping sort of 5 games at a time that were in a list of top 100 games of all time in the forum I use. I mentioned it lots of times.
Yeah.
But we kind of, because of the length of some of these shows, we thought it's just a lot of messing about to add them into the show. So
it doesn't feel like they're a focal point either.
So I think what we're going to do at some point is do a specific
series on them, maybe.
Yeah, a specific series that'll have parts that's specific to that, and we can just break it down into like, maybe 3 episodes or something, and just go through 30 at a time or something like that, as best as we can. I know we've already covered about 10 of them, but it doesn't matter. But it's interesting because the last time they did that was in 2007, and it was only last year that it was done, and it's just, I found it interesting to see those top 100, and it's not one that many people will know about unless you're a member of the forum. So
we'll probably start that up sometime
in the
future.
It's just like that, it gives us another chance to reel off games and talk about them, and again,
do what we enjoy.
Yeah, I mean,
bitching and moaning about games we've never played before.
We're not giving you any cool, interesting new facts at the moment. Sometimes we will.
Sometimes we'll drop stuff like the fact of the day. The fact that in Deus Ex, thank you very much. The drug used in Infamous now, because in Infamous you now have implants.
Is neuroproxine?
Oh,
I thought it was neuroproxine. All right, no, I was going to say neuroproxine. Yeah.
Neuroposing. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
Well,
one of these things, you know. If you're just
that's
chilling at home,
infamous.
you're doing some exercise. Not you want to listen to this sort of thing while you're exercising, but
Podcasts just yeah. If you
it's
listen
always
to it,
good.
It's good.
It's always good to listen to something and then reminisce. Like as you, I remember that game. Oh yeah, I remember that.
So-
And that's one thing I like about. When I
Yeah,
listen
if
to
you
gaming
relate,
podcasts.
tell us in the comments if you
And-
liked it or didn't.
Even just giving you ideas and thoughts about something you've forgotten about. Oh, I might pick that up.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
one thing I really love.
Tell us what you
Demon
played
Souls,
in 2015.
I've started contributing to the old Demon Souls thread and Romuck, and since I've contributed to that, there must have been about 8 people who've either
Joined
jumped
the
on it
bandwagon.
or jumped on it. No,
Yeah.
not the thread, but the game itself, and that's probably because Dark Souls 3 is due
Didn't a
out.
guy go and
this
actually
year.
buy a PS3 to play it or
But
something?
it's amazing, and I love it, and I love that kind of connection with people and how people talk about it, and it gives you, by talking about
That
something,
sense of
it makes
community.
you suddenly motivated to want to try it out. It makes
Yeah,
you think
it
about
does.
it more, and that's how it works sometimes.
So yeah.
We're gonna leave it because again we're
Gonna leave you there. 125. We went over.
Two and a half.
Ain't
It's
bad.
almost 2.5 hours for this episode 6, part 1 and 2.
Yeah, well,
That's
that's
ridiculous.
solid.
We're just getting longer and longer.
because we rant and rave and go off on all kinds of tangents.
All kinds of things.
All kinds.
kinds of
Thank you,
colours.
Hodge twins. So yeah, this is myself, Levi, and my good friend over here. State your name, cuz.
Hush,
State your name.
hush, hush. Yeah.
That's me and Hush signing out for the night, I think.
Until next time, episode 7 coming soon.
Aye, lads.
Leave a comment.
And lasses.
Please.
See you
Don't
later.
tell us we go in tangents and that because we already
Yeah,
know.
we
that.
already know.
Someone's
Good.
already had words before.
Yes.
Read to the comments, you know what we're talking about. Until
So,
next time,
See you later,
just
lads.
enjoy the banter.
And girls. Ta-ta. Cheerio. Doodle pip.